Story 8, in which Piglet does a very grand thing.
Halfway between Pooh's house and Piglet's house was a thoughtful spot where they met sometimes when they had decided to go and see each other. And as it was warm and out of the wind, they would sit down there for a little and wonder what they would do now that they had seen each other. One day, when they had decided not to do anything, Pooh made up a verse about it so that everybody would know what the place was for.
This warm and sunny spot belongs to Pooh, and here he wonders what he's going to do. Oh, bother, I forgot. It's Piglet's too.
Quite right.
Now, one autumn morning, when the wind had blown all the leaves off the trees in the night and was trying to blow the branches off, Pooh and Piglet were sitting in the thoughtful spot and wondering...
What I think is we'll go to Pooh Corner and see Eeyore, because perhaps his house has been blown down, and perhaps he'd like us to build it again.
What I think is, I think we'll go and see Christopher Robin, only he won't be there, so we can't.
Let's go and see everybody, because when you've been walking in the wind for miles, and you suddenly go into somebody's house, and he says, "Hello, Pooh, you're just in time for a little smackerel of something," and you are, then it's what I call a friendly day.
But we ought to have a reason for going to see everybody, like looking for Small, or organising an expedition, if Pooh could think of something.
We'll go because it's Thursday, and we'll go to wish everybody a very happy Thursday. Come on, Piglet.
They got up, and when Piglet had sat down again because he didn't know the wind was so strong and had been helped up by Pooh, they started off. They went to Pooh's house first, and luckily Pooh was at home just as they got there. So he asked them in, and they had some, and then they went on to Kanga's house, holding on to each other and shouting,
"Isn't it?"
and
What?
and...
I can't hear.
By the time they got to Kanga's house, they were so buffeted that they stayed to lunch. Just at first, it seemed rather cold outside afterwards, so they pushed on to Rabbit as quickly as they could. After Pooh had gone in and out once or twice just to make sure that he could get out again, he said,
"We've come to wish you a very happy Thursday."
Why? What's going to happen on Thursday?
Well, the thing about Thursdays is... well, that's Thursdays for you, Rabbit.
Oh, I thought you'd really come about something.
So Pooh and Piglet sat down for a little, and by Pooh and Piglet went on again. The wind was behind them now, so they didn't have to shout.
Rabbit's clever,
Yes, Rabbit's clever.
and he has brain.
Yes, Rabbit has brain.
I suppose that's why he never understands anything.
Christopher Robin was at home by this time, because it was the afternoon, and he was so glad to see them that they stayed there until very nearly tea time, and then they had a very nearly tea, which is one you forget about afterwards, and hurried on to Pooh Corner, so as to see Eeyore before it was too late to have a proper tea with Owl.
Hello, Eeyore.
Ah, lost your way.
We just came to see you and to see how your house was. Look, Pooh is still standing.
I know. Very odd. Somebody ought to have come down and pushed it over.
We wondered whether the wind would blow it down.
Ah, that's why nobody's bothered, I suppose. I thought perhaps they'd forgotten.
Well, we're very glad to see you, Eeyore, and now we're going on to see Owl.
That's right. You'll like Owl. He flew past a day or two ago and noticed me. He didn't actually say anything, mind you, but he knew it was me. Very friendly of him, I thought. Encouraging.
Well, goodbye.
We must be on our way,
Yes,
Eeyore.
Eeyore.
Goodbye. Mind you, don't get blown away, little Piglet. You'd be missed. People would say, "Where's little Piglet been blown to?" Really wanting to know. Well, goodbye. And thank you for happening to pass me.
Goodbye.
The wind was against them now, and Piglet's ears streamed behind him like banners as he fought his way along, and it seemed hours before he got them into the shelter of the 100-acre wood, and they stood up straight again to listen, a little nervously, to the roaring of the gale among the treetops.
Supposing a tree fell down, Pooh, when we were underneath it.
Supposing it didn't.
Piglet was comforted by this, and in a little while they were knocking and ringing very cheerfully at Owl's door.
Hello, Owl. I hope we're not too late for... how are you, Owl? Ooh. Piglet and I just came to see how you were because it's Thursday.
Sit down, Pooh. Sit down, Piglet. Make yourselves comfortable.
Thank you, Owl.
Thank you, Owl. Oh, we will.
Because you see, Owl, we've been hurrying so as to be in time for so as to see you before we went away again.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but am I right in supposing that it is a very blusterous day outside?
Oh, very.
Ooh, I thought so. It was on just such a blusterous day as this that my Uncle Robert, a portrait of whom you see upon the wall on your right, Piglet, while returning in the late forenoon from our... What's that?
Look out! Mind the clock! Out of the way, Piglet! Piglet, I'm falling on you!
Pooh's side of the room was slowly tilting upwards, and his chair began sliding down on Piglet's. The clock slithered gently along the mantelpiece, collecting vases on the way, until they all crashed together onto what had once been the floor, but was now trying to see what it looked like as a wall. Uncle Robert, who was going to be the new hearth rug, and was bringing the rest of his wall with him as carpet, met Piglet's chair just as Piglet was expecting to leave it, and for a little while it became very difficult to remember which was really the north.